Four Midwest Guys presents
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to House Zanardelli, where there are no prisoners, only guests. I am your host, Mr. John Zanardelli, and I'm joined by my lovely wife, the Archmaestress of the Google, Stephanie.
Hey, everybody.
And we have just gotten through watching The Spoils of War, Episode 4 in Season 7, and kind of coming down from the end. We'll get to that in a minute.
That was a really big high, yeah.
Oh, yeah, what a high. It's just... But, so much to cover before that. We don't want to get ahead of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So, God, it's just... where did we start out on this massive journey for that was tonight?
Thankfully, I take notes, so...
I'm always worried whenever you take a lot of pages of notes, because I'm...
Well, I only got 3 tonight.
I know,
so
okay.
That's okay.
Yep.
3.
All right.
So we start out with the Lannister. We see the Lannister army, and they're marching out of Highgarden and back to King's Landing.
Basically taking the spoils of war back. They've got the entire,
They emptied out the vaults that Highgarden had,
Right.
took all of their gold, because the Lannisters owe the Iron Bank so much money, and basically that was their plan all along, was to, defeat House Tyrell, take their gold, and pay back their debts.
If only it were that simple to pay off our debts.
Yeah, right?
But-
Seriously.
So, but yes, tragically, as we saw last week, the House Tyrell is no more, outside of, the couple uncles, or the ones that stayed loyal to the Lannisters.
Lord Tarley, Sam's father, and his son, Dickon. Yeah. And then a couple other people. So basically, the next thing we see is Bronn. We have missed you. I'm so glad you're back.
Yeah,
because
he's always a wonderful addition.
we love that comic relief. And he's so awesome because he's bitching about, not having a castle yet, because Jaime promised him a castle. And this poor guy has been through hell and back with Tyrion and now Jaime, and still no damn castle.
Well, I mean, he did
No,
promise...
what? Did he get a wife yet?
He does. He does have a wife, because remember, he left his wife to help Jaime go to Dorne.
Oh,
Which is where he promised him the castle.
Yeah.
So Jaime's also racking up the debt with Bronn there.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah, this is kind of another...
But it was so funny because he basically just got handed a bag full of gold coins, all this money, and he's still complaining about not having a castle.
And Jaime responds with, you don't want a castle. It's more upkeep, more of a pain. It's like, is that why you're such a smug bastard, or something like that? What did he call Jaime? Is that why you're such a miserable asshole?
Yeah, something like that. Anyway.
So from there, we go to... Where do we go back to from there? Did we go... Was it...
Lord Tarley comes in and he's telling him, that the farmers of Highgarden aren't giving up their food and their crops and stuff, so that Jaime and his army can, still eat and get back to King's Landing.
They're basically
and
pillaging their way back.
Yeah. I mean, they've stolen all the gold. Might as well take all the crops and wipe everybody out. Why not? But, so Lord Tarley and his son are like, these men don't want to do it, and we just don't know what to do. And so Jaime, sends out his guy, which is Bronn, and says, well, you know what? Force him if you have to. And Bronn really doesn't feel comfortable doing it either, but, Jaime's his friend, and he works for Jaime, so, okay, sure.
Despite the fact that this gold is not quite in the Iron Vault yet, it's on its way back to King's Landing, there's still a little bit of, dissension amongst the ranks in House Lannister. But yeah, so from there we go straight back to Winterfell and a bit more of as she clicks the pen, crosses off where we just were. So yes, we go right back to Winterfell, and Winterfell is, despite being as frozen over as it is, a lot warmer of a place to be around this time around because, well, actually I don't know so much. Where do we, who do we have meeting here, Stephanie? Just trying
All right, fine.
you keep the notes. I figure,
whatever.
I throw it back
I'm
to
trying
you.
to show him the notes and let him talk some, but whatever. So, Brandon Stark, who doesn't go by Brandon Stark anymore, apparently.
I am not Lord Stark.
Him and Littlefinger are sitting down having a little, I guess, chat. And Littlefinger hands him back that blade that was used, the dagger that was used, meant to kill him, and didn't, obviously. But that's where Brandon tells him, yeah, okay, thanks. So, yeah.
Basically doesn't really say anything to Littlefinger. He just lets Littlefinger do all the talking at the time.
And he tells him, Littlefinger basically is talking about chaos and how things are in chaos right now. And Brandon refers,
chaos is a ladder.
Comes back with that. So Littlefinger leaves because Mira comes in and tells Brandon that Brandon already knows that she's going to leave. Brandon says, okay, fine, I don't need you. That's fine. Thank you. Because he's got a wheelchair now. He has wheels. He can move around.
Yep. I mean, she comes to him very, genuine, very emotional. I mean, basically she's saying, I saved your ass for how many seasons, and,
She's also fallen in love with him, if you can't tell, because you're a guy.
Obviously,
so.
yeah. I mean, but of course, goth guy doesn't know, so he just...
Yeah.
But then again, I don't know if he knows.
I swear to
or
God,
not,
I can hear the Cure music playing behind him or something. It's ridiculous.
But I mean, she basically breaks it down for him. She's like, my brother died saving you. Hodor died saving you. I nearly died saving you.
Your wolf died saving you.
Your wolf died saving you. All these people died saving you, and that's all you could say is thank you.
And
but she looked at him and says,
Brandon, you died in that cave. And he said, well, I'm not Brandon Stark anymore. So, yeah.
So then we quickly cut to Arya returning to
Arya
Winterfell.
Comes home.
And of course, the first faces she sees, go figure, are two dumbass knights trying to protect. Not trying to protect, basically just shitty at their jobs.
She tells that I'm Arya Stark. Okay.
Fuck off. Nah, you're not Arya. Arya's dead.
Yeah, first, where did they hear that Arya was dead?
I think people have assumed that Arya was dead for a while.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So, anyway, Arya basically has a verbal banter with these two...
nitwits.
Yeah, thank you. I was trying to think of a word, but yeah, that works. And she basically says, if I am who I say I am and you've turned me away, I'm pretty sure the Lady Stark
Lady Sansa.
Or Lady Sansa is going to be pretty upset.
Well, I'm not going to tell her. You're going to tell her. I don't want to tell her. You tell her. You tell Lady Stark. I'll wait here. Hey, where'd she go? So then both of them go
I almost thought I was watching an episode
Laurel
of
and Hardy sketch right
either
there.
Laurel and Hardy or
Abbott and Costello or
British. I can't even think right now.
Monty Python? Are we Monty
Thank
Python?
you, Monty Python. I swear to God.
Actually, I got more of a Simpsons vibe when they had the whole... It's like, what are you two fighting over? We're fighting over who loves you more. Oh, go ahead. You love him more. No, you love him more. You love him more. No, you love him more. You tell Arya. Or you tell Lady Sansa. No, you tell Lady Sansa.
So Arya disappears because she's been trained by the best, and that's what she does. And
they're the worst, so she can easily slip by them.
The idiots go to Sansa and tell her what's going on, and they're like, "Oh, we sent her. We've kind of lost her, but
she was asking for this maester or this lord."
And she knows exactly where Arya is, and she goes down to the family...
Is it crypt?
Crypt,
yeah.
yes. And
every time I say that word, I keep thinking of like some like bad joke
Tale
skeleton.
of- yeah.
You know, some bad joke skeleton's gonna
so
be there.
she finds Arya standing there in front of their father's what is that even called? Statue?
Yeah, even she says that looks nothing like him.
But yeah.
But yeah, the sisters reunite. It's a sweet moment. I mean, as sweet as it can be, because you know,
Oh no, it was great. I was really happy and
the first thing Arya says to her was like, "So I have to call you Lady Stark now?"
Sansa goes, "Yes."
Yes, you do. And she gets a little smile on her face. It's like you can tell she's happy to see her sister, and it was a great moment to see. And yeah, and then she tells him that that Bronn's still alive too.
Bran.
Or Bran, yeah, Bran's still alive.
Brandon,
Bran,
yeah.
Bran, yeah.
She also tells her that, you know, Jon was happy to see her when she came back, and, you know, his heart will probably stop when he sees Arya. So, the other thing too is Arya, you know, Sansa and Arya were looking at their father, and Arya, you had mentioned before that Arya said that, you know, it doesn't look like him. They should have hired somebody to sculpt his face that knew his face.
Yeah.
And Sansa kind of jokingly brushes off and says, well, everybody that knew father is dead. And she said, well, we're not. So
our story is not over.
Our story isn't over.
Right.
So I thought that was kind of cool too.
Cool.
And Arya talks about her list. She's never talked about her list to anybody.
Right.
You know, outside of herself.
Because she mentioned that she was pissed that Joffrey was dead and she didn't get to kill him.
And Sansa kind of, you know, again, brushes it aside and
she
laughs it off
yeah.
and says, what kind of what list? What are you talking about? And basically Arya tells her about her quote unquote death list, you know, of the people she's going to kill.
I have a list of the people I want to kill.
So.
And then they go to see Bran by
Brandon.
by the White Tree.
Yeah.
I still say Bran. Some people say Bran. I mean, he got called Brandon quite a bit in this episode.
Know.
I mean, like, I'm so used to hearing everyone call him Bran. I mean, this was like
not Brandon. Yeah.
There's a lot of Brandon, and so. But yeah, they go to see him by the tree, and he presents Arya with the Valerian. Bear in mind the Valerian steel dagger that Littlefinger gave him. Not just any dagger, the Valerian steel dagger. We're all keeping a note on where all the Valerian steel is in this show.
What do we use Valerian steel for, boys and girls?
Killing the White Walkers.
Yes, that's right.
So, might Arya have a little play here where she's going to be one of the ones to kill the White Walkers?
We'll see.
We'll see. But, yeah. So, she's been given the Valerian steel. And if I'm not mistaken, was Needle made out of any Valerian steel?
I can't remember.
Can't remember. We got to look that one up. Because if she's wielding, like, 2 weapons of Valerian steel, then... And as we'll get to later on, we'll tell that, you know, Arya's quite a bit capable with some weaponry. But yeah, she, you know, Bran, of course, is still listening to his Depeche Mode headset, and is his usual self by the tree, even though Arya's just runs up to him in the wheelchair and hugs him, and he just, like, passively mentions, oh yes, her list. And then he says... He's like, I saw you at the crossroads. I thought you were going to be somewhere else. And he's like, why were you... And then she asked, why were we going to go to King's Landing? And he said, Cersei's on her list.
Yeah. So it was kind of funny because all these people were on her list, and Sansa just really can't believe what she's hearing.
It's like, who else is on your list? Most of them are dead.
Mm-hmm. So,
Yes. So from there, Archmaestress, who is... I saw over there you were looking to see if Needle is made of Valyrian steel.
Yeah, I looked and I couldn't... I only looked at one page and it didn't really say, so I'll look further into it. Anyway.
Archmaestress. So where do we go from here?
Dany and Missandei are coming down the stairs, and they're, you know, talking about Grey Worm and how the Unsullied haven't returned yet. And Missandei basically says, you know, he needs to return to me. And Dany's like, whoa, what's going on there, you know? And Missandei kind of was going to, you know, talk to her until they ran into Jon Snow. Jon wants to take Daenerys and to show her what he's found, to show her all of the dragon glass that he's found under her castle. And in doing so, he also found pictures that the children of the forest drew with this dragon glass. And the thing is Dany's like, oh, I guess they were here before the first men, before this and before. And Jon says, no, I don't think so, because he shows her another picture of the first men and of the children of the forest. And she says, well, did they fight themselves? Did they, were they friends? Were they this? Were they that? And Jon again shows her another picture that's in this on these walls and stuff, and it's White Walkers. And he basically says, they fought together against their common enemy. And that's what we need to do. We have to fight together in order to, wipe out this common enemy. If not, neither one of them will survive. And Daenerys is seeing, is starting to understand, maybe we do need to fight together and do this. And she said, well, I'll fight for you. I will do this, but you must bend your knee. And Jon he's kind of prideful in that.
Well, he says, for as much as my people have gone through, I don't think they could stand to see another Southerner ruling over them. Well,
he said they won't stand for it.
Yeah. Which I was also, pardon my silence for a minute there, I was also, I hope you don't mind, I went through your Google Vaults Archmatrix,
no,
but no, Needle is not Valyrian steel, so that would, unfortunately, my idea of watching Arya like wielding two swords.
But I'm pretty sure Brienne has a Valyrian steel sword.
Brienne?
Brienne.
Oh, Brienne of Tarth, yes. Oathkeeper. Oh, Jaime's is, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and he
gave her
that.
Oathkeeper.
How much Valyrian steel does the North have?
Well, Sam's has a sword, but he's over at the Citadel.
Oh, Sam. Didn't see him today, though.
No.
Except in the HBO's little
Comic-Con
thing.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Anyway, so they come out of the
cave.
out of the cave, and they're met by Tyrion and Varys.
We've taken Casterly Rock. That's good. That's not good. And Daenerys gets a little
peeved.
Yeah, a little. Oh, she gets a little Targaryen. To say it,
she got pretty pissed, but she has every reason to do so. She knows that her unsullied army is stuck with no food. They've taken Casterly Rock, but can't survive long enough for anything, to deal with. And so yeah, she's pretty right. Rightly so pissed off at Tyrion, and
essentially wants to take her dragon straight to Westeros,
Keep, and just burn everything,
burn the hell out of everything. And she, actually, in a nice moment there, turns to Jon and says, "What should I do?" And he says to her, "If you do that," it's like, if you use the dragons. Oh, as our Archmatrix here is pointing out the quote. She actually wrote the quote. Thank you. If you use the dragons, you're no different than any of the other rulers before you. Mm-hmm. So yeah, he's basically pointing out that if you do this,
go in and burn the cities and burn the people, then you're no different.
Right.
Yeah.
Which, that's been what Daenerys has always been building up for herself, that she wants to be different. She wants to be someone that breaks all these taboos and everything. Or basically what everyone thinks of when they think of a king or a leader or whatever. And she's kind of becoming a little susceptible to that. We're seeing now that she's actually seeing what the horrors of being in the Game of Thrones is. And what it does to a person.
Well, I think she's starting to doubt Tyrion's loyalty to her.
Yeah.
And that the battles that he came up with, that they've lost Dorne, they've lost Highgarden, they've lost casted. Basically, they've lost their unsullied army, and now, you know, all because of Tyrion and his planning. And she's starting to question whether Tyrion really wants to hurt his family, or if this is all just a ruse. So
yeah, which is, we'll see later on where Tyrion's allegiances kind of lie a bit. Don't want to get too ahead of myself.
No.
Again, it was a great ending. I'm just gonna say that. I mean, what you guys have in store for y'all? It's a great ending.
Okay.
But so from there, where do we? Hang on, take over here for a second. I gotta man the computer here.
Okay, so we move on, and Podrick, poor Podrick, is still
Podrick.
getting his ass kicked
By Brienne.
by Brienne.
We get to this scene already?
Yeah,
really?
we're already there.
I love that scene. Oh,
And they're
God.
fight. You know, he's
It's
still
like, she's pointing out, don't lunge.
yeah
Don't
he's
this. Sorry.
he's still training under Brienne because he needs to know how to fight. In the upcoming battle, he needs to know how to fight, and he doesn't. And she's trying to teach him, and then here's Arya walking in as she's teaching him, and basically says, "Hey, don't fight somebody like her."
And when she says, yeah, basically she's come there to say that she wants to start training again. God bless you, you beautiful little badass. So she says, oh, I will find, Brienne goes, oh, I'll find someone to do it. It's like, no, I want the person who beat the Hound. So Arya and Brienne have a little sparring match there, and little Arya has definitely grown. I mean, we see Sansa and Littlefinger watching this. I mean, that is not little Arya that Sansa knows anymore. She basically watched her sister becoming a badass. I mean, you know, it ended in kind of a draw, but little girl with little Needle doing her little water dance was holding her own against Brienne with her giant broadsword. It was just a really awesome little training session to watch there. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think when it was over, I turned to you. I was like, I want my daughter to grow up like that.
Yeah.
Not fatherless, mind you, but to grow up that badass.
Mm-hmm. Brienne asks Arya, where did who taught you that? How did you learn this? And she goes, no one. God love you. I love that.
God, it's a perfect little stinger at the end of that, too.
Yeah. So, moving on, we see Davros and Jon coming down and talking to one another. And they run into Missandei, who I think is looking out at the sea to see if her love, Grey Worm, and the Unsullied Army are going to come home, because she is very worried about them. And, so she's looking out to the sea, and essentially Jon asks her, and Davros asks her all these questions about, she's your queen. Aren't you serving her? Why is she your queen? Aren't you still a servant? And Missandei basically and plainly says, no, I serve her because I want to serve her, not because I have to. She took me out of slavery. She is my queen because I believe in her. And Davros jokingly looks at Jon, goes, I don't get mad, but I may switch sides.
Well, what she says to convince him of that, she said, if I told Daenerys that I wanted to leave, she would have a ship ready for me and send me back to my land.
And go back to North, yeah.
I hope you don't mind, sir, but I might switch sides.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's the ideology of Daenerys, and what people have rallied behind her is still there. I mean, people do believe in that because of everything that she's... everything that she stands for.
Yeah.
Well, everything she stands for. I mean,
Yeah.
not just what she's accomplished, but...
Or all her titles, yeah.
Not just all of her titles, but just, like, what she's done in the name of it. The breaker of chains and all that. Like, she wants to end the slavery. She wants to, basically allow for peace and everything. She wants to ruin... She wants to break the wheel of the politics of Westeros. And, in this day and age...
I'm pretty sure she used that line in a show, too.
I'm pretty sure she has. I mean, yeah. She said that last season.
She said, I'm going to break the wheel.
Yeah. She's like, I don't want to be a part of the wheel. I want to break the wheel. I'm like, Yeah, in this day and age of politics, God bless you, we need the wheel broken. But it's another discussion there.
So as John and Davros and Missandei are talking, they see another ship coming in, and it's a Greyjoy ship. So here comes Theon and the men that he was with. So we have another meeting, and it's
I was
Theon,
wondering if we're gonna get to that.
Theon and John
running into John,
and I'm pretty sure John is pissed off at Theon because. Well, for good.
Pretty much for everything Theon has done at Winterfell.
Yeah. And yeah. Anyway, John basically runs up to him, or Theon says hello and starts walking towards him.
Says his name,
and John basically grabs him and says, "The only reason you're still alive is because of what you did for my sister. That is it." And Theon basically kind of just cowers down again.
Poor Theon.
And
which, just a little side note if I can, we just recently saw John Wick. Theon, what the hell, man? You ruin everything. I just had to throw that out there.
Okay. Sure. Moving on, because that was kind of, it.
Random.
They talked about Asha, his sister, being captured by Euron. And that's kind of all they thought. Okay, yeah, moving on. Bronn is with Jaime, and they're kind of setting up, watching the gold go in. They went through into King's Landing, and now all the rest of the army is kind of, the tail of the army is back here, and they're all waiting to go through and back into King's Landing. And Lord Tarly comes up with his son, and Bronn is there with Jaime, and I guess has not met Lord Tarly and his son. And so Bronn says, basically says hi, and
it's like, oh, Rickon.
Jaime, he goes, oh, Rickon, and the boy says, Dickon, sir. Bronn just freaking dies, and I'm sorry.
I
probably would too.
I laughed when he first told me his name.
I mean, Dickon, really? Did you hate your son that much, Dickon?
Come on, George R.R.
Wow. I mean, yeah. So, Bronn, Dickon, and Jaime are all having a discussion with Lord Tarly, and Bronn basically kind of pauses and says, "Hey, do you hear that?" And they kind of look out towards the mountain ranges, and they hear something, and it's a loud, like, booming, almost ground shaking, if you will.
It's a rumbling in the distance,
and
at first we see like clouds just like going overhead. It was like,
it was a cool. I was like, it was a cool kind of thunderstorm moving through. I mean, it was pretty neat, but that's not what was coming through, right?
Nope, not.
What was it, John?
It was this beautiful sight, this wonderful wide shot of the countryside. And you see this tiny line of the Dothraki army, and just realizing how massive it is swarming over to them. It's the fucking Dothraki, and as they're getting closer, Daenerys riding Draco pops out of the clouds right after.
Well, because they heard it scream. Mm-hmm. They heard the dragon scream, and everyone just froze.
Because it's a fucking dragon.
Yeah. Well, when the Dothraki are all coming, when they see the Dothraki coming through, they all tell what's left of the army, hey, form a line, protect us, do all this, da-da-da-da-da. And then you hear that scream, that dragon scream, and everyone just went, huh?
So what the... Pretty much doing the same reaction that John did last week.
I'm pretty sure they wanted to piss their pants, if not... They did.
What army wouldn't piss their pants if a freaking dragon came out of there? But yeah, oh man, just Daenerys takes the lead, says Dracarys, Draco starts torching the army, rendering them to freaking ashes. I mean, I mean, we didn't just see people incinerated. We saw people, like, like Terminator 2 turning to like ash.
Yeah,
right
in like
front of him,
seconds.
blowing
Yeah.
away. I mean, and then the dragons incinerating the army. The Dothraki are swarming. It is not looking good for the Lannister army here.
No, and
at all.
Jamie and Bronn are stuck in like inside of this.
In the center of it,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, give
and
Jamie and Bronn. Well, give Jamie credit there. He's not like turning tail and running.
no,
but
and even Bronn tells him, "Hey, you got to get out of here. You need to go now." And Jamie goes, "There's not enough time."
right.
So he goes, "No, I'm not running." So Jamie stays and fights, and he fights the Dothraki, and he's watching all of this happen in front of him, and he can't believe what he's seeing. And he tells Bronn, "Hey, Scorpion's in one of those carts over there. You have to get to it." And Bronn goes, "Well, you go." And Jamie goes, "I can't shoot it with one hand."
Holds up the gold hand again.
He goes, "I only have one hand." And Bronn's like, "Oh, shit." You could almost... It's like, fine, another damn thing I'm going to probably get killed for. What the hell?
And yeah, in the midst of his journey there, the gold, like, he drops the gold as the
'cause
Dothraki, like, chops the legs off his horse.
Yeah.
It just... And we get this...
Oh, I thought he chopped the leg off the Dothraki horse.
No. The guy chopped the legs off his horse. That's how he fell.
Whoops. Okay, my bad.
And then...
Because I was wondering, I'm like, why did he fall? Anyway.
Yeah, that would be why. And then we get this beautiful, like, one-take shot of, him going through the flames, watching all the people incinerated, watching everything else, like, incinerated around him, and just the dragon overhead, the smoke surrounding him, and getting away from it. The Dothraki guy is still chasing him on horseback. And he finally gets to what's been called, apparently they call the spear Scorpion, which, again, as I've looked it up, they got on loan from Bard the Bowman. Well, you thought I was just going to do a John Wick reference there.
Wow.
No, I'm sorry. If you're going to aim a giant crossbow at a dragon, I can't help but make a Hobbit reference. I'm sorry.
So, but what's really interesting to watch all of this is some of the Dothraki are left up at the top of the mountain, I guess, as like a second, pass through or something.
The leaders are up there with Tyrion.
And Tyrion's watching all of this from up top, and he's watching
essentially his house.
He's watching the armies of his house basically burn alive. And for anybody, this has to be horribly hard. But then he sees his brother, and he kind of like...
Well, hang on. Before we get there, there's a sequence of events that lead up there.
So
once...
Okay, so Tyrion's watching. Drago, it's Drago, right?
I think so.
Okay, I don't know.
Let me find out.
So you look it up.
It's either a Rocky IV reference or a Dragonheart reference.
So the dragon fires near Jamie, and it takes out that little group of men. He tells them, "Hey, kind of hold fast, or something, or run." I don't know, but next thing you know, they're ash, and they blow away in an instant because the dragon's tail kind of flicks and air passes through it and just blows all the ashes out of the way. Bronn makes it to Scorpion, and he unleashes it. He lets the
first arrow fly.
He lets the first arrow fly into a Dothraki, which is the one that was chasing him, and then he loads up another one, and he lets loose the second one, and it flings past the dragon and
that's the one time that Daenerys actually sees it, because before that Jamie actually tried to have his archers hit him. The entire volley hits the dragon, just bounces off.
Yeah. Well, because they're stupid little, arrows.
Like little arrows.
It's like toothpicks. It ain't gonna do anything.
Right, but
Scorpion misses, or Bronn misses with Scorpion, and then he tries again. Well, this time he hit the dragon, and you see the dragon kind of falling.
It hits like basically his shoulder.
Yeah, he hits his shoulder, and you see him falling, out of the sky, and you're like, oh crap, Dany's in trouble.
Yeah, that was the first thing that went through my mind.
And you're like, oh shit. Well, then he kind of just shakes it off, and then he torches
Drogon.
Drogon. Thank you.
Thank
Drogon.
you. So okay, so it's not a Rocky IV or Dragonheart reference.
So Drogon shakes it off and basically torches Scorpion,
Like,
and
lands
Braun jumps
on his
off of
feet
it.
right in front of Scorpion. Yeah.
Yeah, Braun jumps the hell off of it because he knows what's coming, and he torches it and then basically destroys it by flicking his tail.
He
and
looks at the flames and just drops his tail right on it to like
he's
a
like,
like
this
a
is a bunch of
punctuation
bullshit.
mark.
Yeah.
Like, fuck your bow and arrow.
Mm-hmm.
So Dany gets off the dragon.
Yeah.
You know, she gets off Drogon. She tries to pull a giant arrow out of him. And Jaime sees this. He sees that she's right there. She's off the dragon. And Tyrion sees
She's
him.
vulnerable.
She's vulnerable. Tyrion sees him. He's like, just flee. Just flee. Just flee.
Mm-hmm.
Jaime, of course,
Picks up a spear because he's Jaime.
goes right after her. And then you get this great this shot as it's approaching Daenerys. And you see him get closer. And then you see Drogon's head just come right in between them. And his mouth opens.
You can see the fire like right there.
Building up in the glands. And we don't even see who it was.
I know.
Knocks Jaime off the horse and into the water. Fireball goes over. Tyrion probably thinks his brother's dead.
I don't know because he was watching the whole thing, so I'm sure he saw somebody knock him over.
Right. And
But
then,
the thing is Jaime, the last thing that we see is Jaime sinking in this lake because he has his full body armor on.
Right.
So,
And
I
again,
mean,
by this point...
and that shit's heavy.
Yeah, exactly. And then by this point, the entire, like Lannister army is, like, ash or burnt or,
And
cut in half by the Dothraki. I mean,
all their crops and food and everything is gone.
yeah, the tail that they were worried about getting
Mm-hmm.
into King's Landing is completely decimated.
Mm-hmm.
And
We haven't seen Lord Tarly, though.
No, we haven't.
You know, Lord Tarly kind of disappeared in the firefight.
In the fray, yes.
Yeah, so.
But
And
yeah,
I'm you know what? Game of Thrones, I'm kind of pissed off at you, too, because you ended 10 minutes early. And
Whereas
I'm sorry.
Last week we got like a 70-minute talkie episode.
You know, with only 7 episodes this season, that's a bunch of bullshit. I'm sorry.
No, okay, you know, it got us excited. And it ends... For me, it ended on that high note.
Yes, it was a high note, but I am pissed off because I am owed 10 minutes.
But you're left wondering where it's going to go. Where the next week is going to be. It's a perfect time.
I'm left going, are you fucking kidding me?
Well, because you want more.
Yes.
That's a good way to end it, is wanting more.
I want my 10 minutes.
You'll get your next episode next week.
Whatever.
So, overall, God, like this was such a really satisfying episode for me.
Again, we see Dany flying on her dragon, so that's always
and roasting
always awesome.
a Lannister army, nonetheless. That's always a good moment. And even like little moments, like just watching that one moment with Arya and Sansa and Bran, just walking into Winterfell, just the 3 Stark children in Winterfell together again. I mean, just little moments like that.
But I'm worried now that Daenerys is turning into her father. Turning into that Mad King.
We got glimpses of that in the trailer too.
Yeah, and I'm kind of worried about that because she's pissed off that her, forces failed at. Well, they didn't really fail at Castrol Rock. They won it, but now they can't do anything with it.
Right, because essentially, we gotta stop crazy Uncle Euron's fleet out there on the ocean.
And her thing on what was it? Castrol Rock and what else? Dorne. The water battle.
The water battle there.
I mean, she's losing this war that she set out to do.
But she struck a big blow by cutting off the tail of that of the Gold Fleet army.
Yeah, but
That's a good. I mean, it's a good way of saving face for her. I mean, I think if it can follow through and basically make it to where the gold is gone, let's see where that goes.
Yeah.
But
And let's see who pulls Jamie out of the water.
yeah, but
Because I think it might be Tyrion.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
With
overall,
Bronn's help, I don't know. We'll
overall
see.
for me, it's a really good episode. I actually, because in House Zanardelli, we like to talk about the efforts that we go through to basically be able to watch this so we can, have our adult moments so we can adult, putting our daughter to bed. She actually got to bed quite early today, so I was able to get everything nicely set up down here and get the mics and everything, sound check ready, and then
Thank you to our friends Brad and Jen Couch and their 2 little girls because they played the crap out of our little girl. She ran around, did laps, ran upstairs, had fun, did this, did that, and came home and the poor girl was so tired.
ready to go to sleep. I mean, she almost fell asleep on the ride home. We had to give her a bath for tomorrow.
Anyway, thank you to them.
Yeah. And then, thank you both. And then, we got her to sleep, got down here, got everything set up. I left HBO on. Terrible movie Collateral Beauty was on. I'm sitting there laughing my ass off. I go upstairs to grab some snacks. I come back down. This one here is like, I was like, no. I flat out used the phrase emotionally manipulative. Has it manipulated your Oh, God, it has. That's it. No. So I quickly changed the channel to Batman v Superman so we could, palate wash ourselves out of this.
Anyway, but hey, everybody, if you like our show, great. If you want to help us and tell us what we can do differently, please do.
To all of our half dozens of fans out there who listen.
Check us out for Midwest Guys, House Zanardelli. We're on YouTube, Podbean. What else?
You can check us out at the For Midwest Guys Facebook page. I believe I think they have a website up right now. The number 4 Midwest Guys.
Yeah, the actual number 4.
Yeah.
And MidwestGuys.com. So check it out.
And of course, we have our YouTube show, which I try to export as quick as I can to make sure it gets out there. But it's a bit of an export job.
Anyway,
but yeah, so we have a YouTube channel for all the episodes. And
okay. All right, so we're gonna jump off here and say good night until next weekend. We'll talk to you guys later.
And until next week, this is John Zanardelli of House Zanardelli and Archmaestress of the Google, Stephanie.
Good night.
Wishing you all a pleasant evening, and till next time.